Investigation Bureau, NSIB, has said its investigation into the recent Abuja-Kaduna train derailment at Asham Station has revealed that poor maintenance and a faulty track switch were key factors behind the incident. According to the preliminary findings, several sleepers at the station had been damaged in a previous incident, where only parts instead of being properly repaired. Investigators also found that the automatic switch mechanism at the station's crossing point was unserviceable at the time of the derailment, which is the second to occur at the same station within 13 months. As a result, the switch had to be manually operated and secured using a point clip, which was later discovered to be broken. Thus, compromised the integrity of the track alignment, leading to the derailment. The report also noted that personnel of the Nigerian Railway Corporation had received only initial training with no formal refresher courses, raising further concerns about safety standards and preparedness. While 21 passengers sustained injuries in the accident that occurred on August 26, 2025, there were no fatalities among the 618 people on board the train. Vice President Kashim Shettima will, on Wednesday, deliver Nigeria's national statement at the ongoing 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly on behalf of President Bola Tinubu. The address, according to a statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwacha, as scheduled between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. New York time, with multilateralism, UN reform, climate action, international finance restructure, amongst others, top on the agenda. Using the same medium last year, President Tinubu had called for Africa to be allocated permanent seats at the United Nations Security Council, a push which is now being considered by the global organ. Earlier on Tuesday morning, Vice President Shettima joined other world leaders for the Assembly's evening session, where U.S. President Donald Trump delivered a keynote address formally welcoming delegates. Afterwards, Vice President Shettima played host to the President of Namibia, Nandi Ndaitwah, on the sidelines, where both leaders engaged in bilateral talks, wherein the Namibian leader announced a planned official visit to President Bola Tinubu in Nigeria. Elsewhere, President Bola Tinubu has cautioned Nigerian Christian pilgrims traveling to Israel and Jordan against absconding during their holy journey, stressing that patriotism and dignity should guide their conduct abroad. He spoke at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport, Owerri, Imo State, on Wednesday while flagging off the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission's 2025 delayed Easter pilgrimage exercise to Israel and Jordan. Represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, President Tinubu described pilgrimage as a spiritual journey of faith and a platform for moral transformation and spiritual rebirth. The President urged the pilgrims to return home with their groups at the end of the exercise, noting that their experiences would help them contribute positively to building an egalitarian society where no man is oppressed. Highlighting his administration's support for both Christian and Muslim pilgrimages, Tinubu said prayer remains a sustainable force for Nigeria and reiterates his government's commitment to promoting religious harmony. President Bola Tinubu has conferred national honors of the Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON, posthumously on former Ogoni leaders Albert Bade, Edward Obani, Theophilus Orage, and Samuel Orage, popularly known as the Ogoni Four. He announced when he received the report of the Ogoni Consultation Committee at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The president also enjoined the people of Ogoni land to embrace reconciliation and unity after decades of division. Tinubu recalled that in 2022, the previous administration handed over the operatorship of the Ogoni oil field to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and its joint venture partners, adding that his government would honor and build on that decision. The president therefore directed the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, to immediately commence engagement between the Ogoni people and NPCL, its partners, and all relevant stakeholders to finalize modalities for restarting operations. Oil exploration in Ogoniland stopped in 1993 following sustained protests against environmental degradation and injustice, which culminated in the execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other activists in 1995. In other news, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has hailed the reopening of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's office at the National Assembly, describing it as a victory of unity over tyranny. On Tuesday, the Senate, through Alabi Adedeji, Deputy Director of the Sergeant at Arms, unsealed Akpoti-Uduaghan's office, paving the way for her return to legislative duties. The office had been under lock since March 6, 2025, when she was suspended for 6 months over alleged breaches of the Senate standing rules. Reacting in a statement, Atiku said the development is a reminder that Nigerians can only defeat oppression by standing together. The former vice president also linked Akpoti-Uduaghan's ordeal to what he called a broader pattern of democratic subversion under President Bola Tinubu. Atiku vowed that the opposition would continue to resist such moves through legal and democratic means. The Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, has asked the Dangote refinery to adopt an open-door supply policy and provide marketers with fair access to petroleum products at reasonable prices. Speaking in an interview on Wednesday, DAPMAN spokesperson Ike Mohia argued the partnership with the refinery would guarantee steady fuel availability across the country. It debunked a widespread notion that the association conflicted with the Dangote refinery, adding that all they wanted was collaboration that will help eliminate fuel queues and ensure Nigerians benefit from a stable supply. He explained that while Dangote refinery is currently the dominant supplier, a development the marketers welcomed, the core challenge was access and pricing. To efficiently move petroleum products across the country, Ohia said DAPMAN members have, for more than 20 years, built a robust distribution network, with depots strategically located in Calabar, Port Harcourt, Warri, and Lagos. Now talking security, a special court-martial of the Nigerian Army in Maiduguri, Borno State, has sentenced 3 soldiers to life imprisonment and a 4th to 15 years for illegally selling arms in collaboration with police officers and terrorist groups. The trial was presided over by Brigadier General Ugochukwu Onachukwu, the Acting General Officer commanding 7th Division and Commander of Sector 1 Operation Hadinkai. It was held at the officers' mess of the Seattle Command Headquarters in Maiduguri. Delivering the judgment, Brigadier General Muhammad Abdullahi, President of the Court-Martial, found Sergeant Raphael Ame, Sergeant Ejiga Musa, and Lance Corporal Patrick Ocheje guilty and sentenced them to life imprisonment. The soldiers were convicted of multiple offences, including theft, unlawful dealing in ammunition, and aiding the enemy, all punishable under the Armed Forces Act. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has formally asked the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja to issue a bench warrant for the arrest of former Senator Andy Uba over a 400 million naira job scam. The police intend to arrest Uba and bring him to court for trial. The IGP sought the arrest order on Wednesday following the persistent absence of Uba, who once represented Anambra South in the Senate, to appear in court for the arraignment over the alleged appointment fraud. The trial judge, Justice Mohammed Umar, had in July slated Wednesday for the arraignment of Uba and his co-defendant Benjamin Etu. Counsel to the prosecution, Aminu Abdullahi, however, told the court that the defense counsel had, during previous proceedings in the matter, given sickness as reason for the absence of the first defendant without adducing any documentary evidence to show that he is actually sick and cannot face his trial. Abdullahi therefore prayed the court to issue a bench warrant for the arrest of the former senator. Justice Omar, who was angry over the repeated absence of Andy Uba, said the court will do whatever it takes to ensure that he is present to face his trial if he failed to come to court on the next adjourned date. You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come. President Bola Tinubu directs Bank of Agriculture to clear outstanding arrears of 30 billion naira owed to agro-dealers and impute suppliers on the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Packet. We will bring you more on this when we return. Stay with us.